Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with the latest on the tropics, and of course yesterday a hurricane made landfall in the U.S. Off the screen, Dolly moved into Texas and did so with winds of 9,500 miles an hour. It was a minimal Cat 2 hurricane. It may have been weakening just a bit as it was making landfall, which is why it's still up in the air whether it was a strong Cat 1 or a weak 2. Either way, hitting South Padre Island yesterday. In the meantime, the quiet tropics continue. However, we do have a new wave right off the coast of Africa, and we're going to watch this one. We also have an invest out here that is generally going to be moving off to the west-northwest as over cool waters, and development should not occur. Here's the latest on Tropical Depression Dolly. The final advisory has been issued as of 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. It was at 28.2 north, 100.6 west. Winds were down to 35 miles an hour, gusting to 45. It's still moving faster now to the west-northwest at 13, and that's good news to stop the heavy rain, 1,000 millibars, and again, Dolly should continue to move generally west-northwest. It may enter the state of Texas again, the unofficial center, even though it's dissipating, and we'll still be able to track it for you there. You can see the latest infrared satellite loop does show that it is still maintaining some convection there, but again, most of it is gone, but it really packed a wall up. The eye came right over South Padre Island, moved inland, and it's pretty much been a slow mover, dropping tons of rain. I'm literally talking tons and tons of rainfall, and that has been the main concern with Dolly all along. Now, as of right now, the radar shows that we still do have that precipitation generally in the vicinity of northern Mexico. There's Eagle Pass, Texas, Del Rio, Texas, San Antonio. You have a flood advisory out for you, and you can see the rainfall is the circulation. Again, this was trying to organize upon landfall, which means that the general circulation is a lot stronger than it would be if the system had been weakening. So it still has a pretty good spin to it. Now, what happened to Dolly as it came on shore yesterday, you can see the visible. It maintained a very spectacular cloud appearance as the eye moved in, very similar to, say, Hurricane Claudette in 2003, which was also a strengthening hurricane hitting Texas in July. So that might be a little bit of one that we look back on. Claudette and Dolly, both kind of similar. You can see the infrared satellite imagery as Dolly was out here in the Gulf of Mexico. It didn't look all that great, and then it really started to strengthen, and right towards the coast at this point, it had a well-defined eye and a bursting CDO, and the pressure dropped 15 millibars just about, had been up like 977, and by the time the recon was doing the observations, the pressure dropped all the way down to 961, made landfall around 967. So there was a slight weakening, but you could still see it was a very impressive hurricane as it moved on in. And again, the radar shows that it moved right up into radar range and it started to strengthen. And right about this point here, early in the morning yesterday, we had a very good satellite and radar signature. The pressure started to plummet very rapidly, and we had this well-defined eye wall. And there was some indication, what if this thing, starts to rapidly strengthen? And it just started to, and then it kind of fluctuated there and came on shore. So we were lucky this didn't have another day over water, or else we could have been talking about a Category 3, possibly even a Category 4 hurricane making landfall again. The impact in the southwest eye wall was very nasty for areas of South Texas, but also the rainfall was very prolific. Now, elsewhere in the tropics, we were monitoring this wave. This wave moved off the coast as a massive wave destined to develop. The ones that are destined always fall apart. And it moved off too far north, and it's been over cooler waters, but it is starting to fire a little convection, and there is still a spin to it. And you're going to have to watch this. This is Index 97L. The models take it generally off towards the area out to sea over cooler water, so we may not have to deal with it. More waves about to move off, and this wave just moved off. This could become an invest and feature over the next few days as it moves generally in a westerly direction. Now, aside from our Dolly dissipating here over northern Mexico, you can see we do have Tropical Storm Genevieve. Didn't become a hurricane. Winds are down a bit to 60 miles an hour, 55, 60, gusting to 70, moving west at 6, and is expected to weaken from here on out. Although it may do a little strengthening over the weekend, not become a hurricane, 1,000 millibars. And also further out in the western Pacific, we do have a new tropical depression, 35 miles an hour, moving west-southwest at 6. This is forecast to become a typhoon and strike Taiwan. And looking at it on satellite imagery, this is a very impressive typhoon. It has good outflow off to the south, has good ventilation all the way up and around, and bursting convection. Looking at it from afar, you could clearly see this west-southwest movement should take it in this direction, then back to the north into Taiwan and China. How strong it gets before then is yet unknown. I'm Mike Naso from IPR and PodWeather.com. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time.